let's just jump right in. We all make choices every day, right? But what about the big one? The one that pits the life everyone thinks you should live against the one you're actually dreaming of. In today's Explainer, we're going to break down a modern love story that's basically a perfect case study for one of the toughest decisions you can ever make.
And this quote? This is the heart of it all. It perfectly frames that universal struggle, Following the path that's laid out for you, by your family, by society, versus actually carving out your own. It's the choice between what's safe and what's possible. And honestly, it's a platform we all find ourselves standing on at some point.
But this is way more than just a love story. It's really about dissecting a single, massive, life-changing decision. We're going to follow two totally ordinary middle-class kids, Sach and Kavya, as they face this exact dilemma. And through their journey, we might just uncover a kind of blueprint for what it really means to choose love when all the odds are stacked against you.
Okay, so every story has a beginning, right? And this one starts with two people who were on completely different tracks in life. Two people whose paths were, by all accounts, never supposed to cross. Let's get into how they collided. So on one side, you've got Sach. He's been kind of pushed into the Indian Air Force, feeling pretty lost and living a life he never really chose for himself. And then you have Kavya. She's a university student in Delhi who literally had to fight her family just to get an education. She is determined to write her own story. I mean, they're worlds apart, but you can see they're each already fighting their own private battle of duty versus dreams.
So, how on earth do these two meet? Well, it's thanks to a classic stroke of Indian ingenuity, Jugaad. During a Ganapati festival, the makeup artist's assistant gets sick. Sach just happens to be there and gets roped into doing makeup for a show. He has absolutely no experience, just a box of brushes and a whole lot of panic. It's pure, on-the-fly problem solving. And that's when Kavya walks in. She's one of the performers, a classical Bharatanatyam dancer. But instead of being horrified by Sach's cluelessness, she just breaks the ice with this amazing line. And then she actually patiently guides him through all the complex, traditional makeup, step by step. And in that one small, kind of chaotic moment backstage, a real connection was sparked.
So that chance meeting, it blossoms into something much, much deeper. And it happens fast. But as their feelings for each other grow, so does the shadow of reality. This is the part of the story where their personal dream starts to run headfirst into the giant, unmovable wall of family, tradition, and logic.
What started with just a phone number scribbled on a scrap of paper becomes their absolute lifeline. Those nightly 8 p.m. calls become a ritual. Weekend meetups in Delhi's famous parks make their bond even stronger. And within a few months, it's obvious this isn't just a friendship. So by the second year, the inevitable question, marriage, is officially on the table.
And this is the moment the dream gets an ultimatum. When Kavya finally tells her family about Sach, her father gives her this devastating choice. Marry the man you love and you're disowned, or obey him and give Sach up forever. Suddenly, the conflict isn't just a metaphor anymore. It is brutally real. And right here, those two trains are laid bare. One track offered duty, an arranged marriage to a good family, security, family approval, the whole package. The other track offered their dream, love, total uncertainty, and the very real pain of rejection. This was it, the choice, stark and completely unavoidable. With the door to any kind of conventional path totally slammed in their faces, they're forced to think about something radical. This is where their story goes from being a romance to basically being a thriller.
So Plan A, getting their family's blessing, was a spectacular failure. That meant it was time to activate Plan B, elope. It was a desperate, incredibly high-stakes gamble to just choose their own future when nobody else would give them permission. The plan is set in motion with just breathtaking speed. The ultimatum is delivered, the secret decision is made, and then Kavya makes her move, slipping away from her family's house to meet Sach and start their journey into the complete unknown. But it almost ends before it can even begin. Kavya's father and brother figure out what's happening and they are at the train station actively searching for them. The train, their escape route, is now a trap. So in a moment of sheer quick thinking, they ditch the whole plan. They jump on the very first bus they see leaving the city, destination Kanpur. It's a split-second decision that changes absolutely everything. Okay, the frantic escape is over. But the hardest part? That's just beginning. Now they have to face the quiet,
difficult reality of actually building a life together when they have nothing but each other.
Their journey takes them all the way from Kanpur to Solapur, where, in a really surprising twist, Sach's parents show up. Turns out, they found out about the plan, and they decided to stand by their son. With their support, Sach and Kavya are officially and finally married.
135 rupees. That's it. That was the total cost of their court marriage. It's such a tiny number for such a monumental, life-changing choice, and it's a stark reminder of just how humbly they started.
And this was their first home. Not some cozy apartment. It was a single 10 by 12 foot room in Delhi, with a bathroom they had to share with all the other tenants, and a tiny kitchen crammed under a staircase. Their entire world was a folding bed and 2 pillows. This is the real, unglamorous side that comes after the grand romantic gesture. So how did they manage? I mean, this was no fairy tale. They met every single real-world challenge with practical action. Sach studied for his MBA on his long train commute. Kavya slowly started to build a bond with her new in-laws over the phone. They literally ate off a single plate. They were proving that love isn't just a feeling. It's a daily series of choices you make to solve problems together. And this just brings us full circle, doesn't it? Their whole journey, from that first chaotic meeting to building a life from absolute zero. It all comes back to this one idea. They didn't just choose a train once. They had to keep choosing it day after day to stay on the same journey together, no matter how bumpy that ride got.
Ultimately, their story isn't just about them. It's really a mirror. We all stand on our own platforms, facing our own trains of duty and dreams. The story of Sach and Kavya doesn't tell you which one to get on, but it does ask a really powerful question. Are you brave enough to choose?